This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
You are listening to WMNH-LP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
From the studio.
I appreciate that kind introduction, but the introduction I prefer is a little bit shorter. I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican, in that order.
Yeah.
They say don't throw stones if you live in a glass home, but America is Rittenhouse. Time we took a Rittenhouse and rebuilt from the bone. The structure's irredeemable. Try and stay away from the thought that it's undefeatable. Yeah, cause that's what evil do. Choke you to the point where what's this bad, it don't seem real to you. Create the pain and profit from misrelievers. The pills, violence, the pursuit of money and achievement. Ain't a heaven and hell, God, but like to think that there be consequences when you make all of your money off of demons. But it seem in this land, that's what gets the most applause. Manipulating each other just to get the most applause. Our empathy rarely extend beyond what we can see. On that, it ain't real if it ain't happened to me. If passion could breathe, it be in the ICU. Let's it live somewhere where all the hospital beds was used. Asked them about a vaccine, they said my body, my choice. In Texas outlawed all women's rights. Ain't dudes looking like somebody bodied they voice. Son, I ain't hear a peep. Every time the wolves come around, I ain't hear a sheep. And every so-called progressive treat Democratic presidencies like 8 years of sleep. I'm just saying, this week, it's like this shit, it's just a movie. Once your good gotta win, but he get in, couldn't name the good your good gotta did. They say you know who someone really is, you get them near the edge. Well, look at our border, you'll find our country's soul there. Look around at people determined to keep control, but they ain't never even had it in a place that's never known fair. Body cam, service proof of the audacity. Mass shooting casualties accepted mad casually. Civilian deaths don't matter at home or abroad. So between us and the machines, who the drones really are. It ain't a system if one guy could stop it. Average Joe getting up my mansion while Biden watches. Them student loans, the ropes around yo and I's pockets. Pay to learn to be in debt while the wealthy guys profit. Yeah. Hypocrisy, monotony, every race judge each other but all agree on misogyny. Internet revolutionary, shooting off technology. Act like you a fraud soon as you try to affect policy. Yeah. Whole generation of look at me, I read Marx but work for a corporation. Everything performative, I ain't different. I sit on the left but got way more to give. Instead I'm taking my first, I'm not broke checks to buy throwback jerseys that we just couldn't afford as kids. My inner child trying to be glorious too. Just like you, my trauma hurts, we all damaged goods. But I'm just saying there's a lot that if we can, we should. Got us to conflate mass production with quality and fame with validation. They like if everybody ain't love it, they wouldn't make it. Nah, it's they no love it or not that you gonna take it, cause only ego is sacred to you. Live on its flimsy branches but don't really know all of the roots of your behavior, do you? And most of corporate spokespeople, they just shit through you. People lying on toxic shit, this ain't due to influence you and get paper through you. Yeah. Underneath the hatred, who you? It ain't so hard to pronounce a pronoun, dog. We ain't know then what we know now, dog. Don't even know you, focus on what you like your ass called. At the same time, acting like them changes gonna be profound when ain't a verb in sight, cause it's amateur night. And all this shit that's turning pros nouns. More things, more stars, more rings. Lot of empty gestures. You had some values when you was young. Lot of empty nesters. A lot of let's be betters, but a lot of get these checks first. A lot of attention seeking disguise this hefty efforts. A lot of diamond chains disguise this hefty net worth. A lot of big chested dudes behind desks who forgot the legwork. We all gon' be revealed eventually. Little time to fix it all, we in need of centuries. Rather smile in the fire than languish in levity. Except it's not the enemy, fighting is longevity. Win or lose for skeptics be, we just can't be letting we go. Try and be the version of me that's for us, cause living in them shallow waters lead to a deep mistrust. Yeah. Healing's not a feeling, it's a process. Progress not an object, it's a concept. Humanity's a conscience, not a contest. It's time we confess, cause they've been putting on a show. And we've been on set from the onset, but smiling in the face of woe and keep going's all we gon' get for catharsis. And that's enough, trust me, to make it underneath all of the fear where the love be. That's where I'm trying to go, and I'd love company. So whatever feel inevitable in this young country, we still got a choice, you still got a voice. Time to change, saw them trophies that they still trying to hoist. Going down swinging don't mean you can't go down living. So I'ma live it to the end. Even if I got no saying when, I got the how, and you won't find that on the fence. You won't find that on the fence. No, ain't a big God, but if she exists and was trying to teach us about us, we're more perfect than this. As we prioritize band-aids for ourselves and next of kin, instead of trying to heal world wounds that are generations in. This COVID here to stay, cause all we think about is me, and can't envision eyes one in the global community. Our demise will be that failure, thinking we can hoard science. Our inaction is action, thinking we can ignore violence. A team only as good as its 12th man's health, and we've been raping and pillaging our bench for centuries. Welcome to the repercussions, possibly the ending. We finger pointing to avoid that we our own enemies. What if instead of pretending we harness that fight and that fuel to be all that we pretend to be? They'll always be waiting if you wait until you ready be. I'm looking in the mirror like, when you gonna set you free?
Listen, thanks for doing this interview. I know it's not your typical style.
Absolutely.
Have you ever met a gay person before?
I deal better with regular people.
We are back, and joining me now is the worst thing to happen to Disney since the It's a Small World ride, and the most boring, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Welcome to the free state of Florida.
Okay, let's cut the shit. Governor, you go by so many nicknames. Which do you prefer I call you? Ron DeSanctimonious? Meatball Ron? Dull as dishwater DeSantis? Trump Light? Little Ronnie Pudding Fingers? Ronald McDoofus? I can continue.
You can call me whatever you want. I mean, just as long as you also call me a winner.
Girl. No. You have become quite a star, my friend, using your evil to turn back time and make your state an unsafe place for so many.
That's just what I do.
Well, I guess my question is, are you ready to do it on a national scale?
Absolutely.
Do you have what it takes, Governor, to snatch Donald Trump's $5 weave and steal the MAGA base?
I think the country wants a change. I think they want a fresh start in a new direction.
Ron DeSantis, has fame gone to your head and made you wacky? Fresh and new is yesterday's vibe. Who needs cultural advancement, diversity, compassion, or Trixie Mattel? This country's in a slow-burning Uber X headed right back to the dark ages. And baby, you're just the heartless autocratic wannabe to drive us there. Hey MAGA, y'all take note. He's the Trump alternative who wants your vote. Hey Donald, get in line. There's a fresh new fascist trying to steal your shine. So let's go make liberal unlawful. Bid all drag shows and freedoms farewell. Say hello to a new kind of awful. Hey girl, it's time to drag this country straight to hell. Hey MAGA, welcome to DeSantis. Welcome to DeSantis. Go Ronnie, gay. USA, get a load of him. This could be your future and it's awfully grim. Here comes our hero of the culture war. And he's got his eye on 2024. Sorry, dude, take a token, start drinking. Look out for the most boring new right-wing creep. Cause he's over that woke forward thinking. So he's come to put the country back to sleep. And I go, welcome to DeSantis. No, thank you, no. Welcome to the bigoted old-timey days where we ban all the books and we hate all the gays. Brace yourself for major small energy, cause it's time for a tyrant like Ronnie D. Hide your wife and children when DeSantis runs, cause our lives are secondary to their damn guns. Let's go retrogress to 1953. Last call for all your bodily autonomy. Sit back, relax, and listen to him spit and spew his conservative view. With the race, be the face, which is all they do. Hey Ronnie, full of hate. You're the Chevy Stalin of the Sunshine State. Nobody likes you cause you're harsh and mean. Even Mickey Mouse is like, girl, this queen. But say no immigration. Put an end to those pesky old human rights. Cause we know that he'll fight for our nation till at last it's safe for wealthy Christian whites. Finally, hey MAGA, welcome to DeSantis.
We will never ever surrender to the woke mob.
Ronnie, go, Ronnie, gay. Thank you, no.
I have fought the good fight.
No, mama. No.
Okay, bring it on.
Girl, no.
Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Happy Friday. It is Matt Connerton Unleashed. and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, and hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Friday, July 21, 2023. So nice to have you all with me. Friday, of course, my favorite day of the week here at WMNH. It's my long day. I get to do double duty, and I do love it. Of course, I'm here with you until 6 p.m. for this program, and then I am back tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. I have the honor and privilege of being one of being one of Paul's co-hosts on that show. My allergies have really been bothering me today. Along with, of course, DJ Steve and Mike from Queen City Cabinetry. And this is what Paul posted regarding tonight's show. On Retro Spectrum Radio, we'll be featuring our third installment of original versions of popular songs that you had no idea were covered by your favorite bands. And of course, an all-new Name That 9 at 9, will DJ Steve hold his title? Join us for the fun at 8 p.m. Eastern this Friday. And don't forget, next Friday night, on July 28, we'll be joined in studio by the lovely and talented producer and director, Aaron Zadofsky. Don't miss it. So that's tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. And one thing we like to tell people about Retro Spectrum Radio, please join us on Facebook, on the Retro Spectrum Radio Facebook page, in the chat room. But Paul mutes the show so that we don't get kicked off Facebook. So then also open a second tab on your browser for WMNHradio.org and click Listen Live. So you can listen online on the WMNH website, but hang out with us in the chat room. We love having people in the chat room, just like we love having people in the chat room on this show, and we will say hello to everybody in there in a moment. But let me give you the contact info for the show, and I'll tell you what we've got coming up today on this program. 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. You can text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, Matt, at mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the aforementioned Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. And, by the way, if you happen to be in the Manchester, New Hampshire area, if you're outdoors, I would expect to get rained on if you're not already, because actually it looks like it might already be raining. It got very, very dark outside. It is not supposed to be that dark outside in the middle of July. So definitely some storms coming. Once again, I think I probably made it here just in time today to avoid the wetness. Coming up on this show today, at the top of the hour, we have Eric Pilcher's classic film review, as we do every Friday. And this week, the subject is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I did see for the first time when I was a kid. Great film. And I would also say it might be timely in a sense, because not that this is one of the things I want to get into today in depth necessarily, but although it would be an appropriate day for it because of Eric's review, but the government, little by little, we learn more about the possibility of extraterrestrial life or something going on in the skies that can't be fully explained. Mike says in the chat room, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, or were you referring to Easy G's comment about there's nothing better than a Queen City cupcake on a hot day? Yes, nothing like a delicious cupcake on a hot day. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that today at the top of the hour. I do want to, another thing that we are going to do today too, is I want to kind of pick up where we left off, but we'll circle back to this. The discussion yesterday at the end of the show about the new Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town, and the video I had a chance to, after the show, I watched the video that goes with the song. So I have some additional thoughts and reflections. Plus I've had, how dark it is. That's what Mike was saying. I was thinking the same thing. Yes, it's very dark outside for 4 o'clock or 4:15 on a summer day. But I have some more thoughts to share about that and that controversy. And I also want to read to you something a recent guest of ours said about it on social media that I thought was particularly interesting. So I do want to get to that, but I want to open the show with talking a little bit about Tony Bennett passing away at the age of 96. Although he was just shy of 97, he was only a couple of weeks away from hitting 97. Now, obviously, people are talking today about his music career, his, how he was able to bridge generations with his music and have a lot of success, not only early in his career, but later in his career as well. And all of that. And I feel like everybody else kind of has that covered already. But what I wanted to look at a little bit was his work as a civil rights activist. And this is what I thought was particularly interesting. And NBCnews.com has a story up that kind of focuses on this. And this is how I kind of wanted to honor him. It says here, in the 1950s, Tony Bennett watched with dismay as black musicians like Nat King Cole and Duke Ellington were denied admission to concert hall dining rooms and hotels. The injustice he witnessed infuriated the younger singer. By the way, that kind of mirrors what also we know about Frank Sinatra during his career. He was very upset. There's a famous story about how when he was first getting to know Sammy Davis Jr., he invited Sammy Davis Jr. to open for him or something, and Sammy never showed up, and it turned out it was because he wasn't allowed in, which really made Frank Sinatra angry. Bennett wrote this, quote, "I'd never been politically inclined, but these things went beyond politics." He wrote this in The Good Life, his 1998 autobiography. Quote, "Nate and Duke were geniuses, brilliant human beings who gave the world some of the most beautiful music it's ever heard, and yet they were treated like second-class citizens. The whole situation enraged me," unquote. That's why when the artist and activist Harry Belafonte called up Bennett and asked him to join the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s voting rights march from Selma to Montgomery in 1965, Bennett accepted without hesitation. He flew to Alabama and linked arms with his allies in the fight for justice. By the way, I'm embarrassed to say, I didn't know that. I did not know that Tony Bennett had participated in the Selma March. I did not realize that. Bennett, who died today at age 96, entered the American musical pantheon thanks to his velvety vocals and seemingly effortless command of the standard songbook. But his civil rights activism is another essential part of his legacy, and he viewed his entrance into King's political movement as a crucial chapter in his life. He wrote in his biography, quote, "When the march started, I had a strange sense of deja vu. I kept flashing back to a time 20 years earlier when my buddies and I had fought our way into Germany," unquote. Serving in World War II, Bennett's friendship with a black serviceman was condemned by white army officers. Bennett wrote, quote, "It felt the same way down in Selma. The white state troopers were really hostile, and they were not shy about showing it. There was the threat of violence all along the march route from Montgomery to Selma, some of which was broadcast on the nightly news and really helped to make the country aware of the ugliness that was still going on in the South," unquote. Bennett was terrified, he recalled, but Belafonte kept his cool and helped make sure everyone focused on the road ahead. And a side note, Belafonte, who just died in April, he was also 96 at the time of his death. It says here, Bennett did not walk all 54 miles. Instead, he went ahead to Montgomery so he could be there on March 24 to greet King and sing for the marchers alongside Ella Fitzgerald, Pete Seeger, Joan Baez, Sammy Davis Jr., Mahalia Jackson, and others. The day after the Stars for Freedom rally, King delivered the "How Long, Not Long" speech on the steps of the Alabama State Capitol. Bennett wrote, quote, "I'm enormously proud that I was able to take part in such a historic event, but I'm saddened to think that it was ever necessary and that any person should suffer simply because of the color of his skin," unquote. When the Selma to Montgomery march came to an end, Bennett was driven to the airport by one of King's supporters, Viola Liuzzo, a white woman from Detroit who had 3 children. He later learned that she was killed by white supremacists on the drive back to Selma. Bennett committed himself to the cause of racial equality in the decades that followed. He advocated for gifted black artists and pushed the corporate music industry to release their records. He joined the artistic boycott of apartheid South Africa and performed for Nelson Mandela during the South African president's first state visit to Britain. The crooner's abiding spirit of inclusion was clear to his children, including his eldest son, Danny, who recalled a wonderful childhood. In an interview with Good Housekeeping in 1995, Danny Bennett recalled, quote, "waking up to hear Count Basie and Duke Ellington jamming in our basement," unquote. Danny was proud that his father joined King's March, quote, "before it became fashionable among celebrities to publicly crusade against racist discrimination." He is a good man and a good father, unquote. In 2007, Tony Bennett was inducted into the International Civil Rights Walk of Fame, a promenade at the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park in Atlanta. The other inductees that year included the Hollywood icon Sidney Poitier, who died last year, and Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat of California. 5 years earlier, the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change, a nonprofit organization in Atlanta, bestowed on Bennett its 20th annual Salute to Greatness Award. King's widow, Coretta Scott King, and the singer said the singer richly deserved the honor. She said, quote, Tony is not only one of America's premier performing artists, but he was a deeply committed friend and supporter of my husband and the civil rights movement. He has continued to support the efforts of the King Center to fulfill Martin's dream, along with so many other great causes, unquote. Bennett, for his part, told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that he was over the moon. In an interview with the newspaper, Bennett reflected warmly on his friendship with Belafonte and the inspiration he drew from the latter's example. He said, quote, Harry just reaffirmed for me that we're all political animals when injustice is happening. We're all such a small speck in the face of the universe. Every single person on this planet is important and should be respected equally, unquote. So that's a story from... DJ Steve says in the Facebook live chat, good afternoon, Matt. My father's cousin, the late Tori Zito, was his pianist and musical director for 8 years. That's right. I think I remember you mentioning that on Paul's show, Steve. Yeah, very interesting. One other thing regarding Tony Bennett, too, that I wanted to mention, and this also relates to, he talks about his time fighting in World War II, and some of what he had to deal with in terms of, being friends with black soldiers and how not everyone approved. This is from Mediaite.com. Tony Bennett's gripping account of fighting in World War II during iconic Howard Stern interview. It says here, he gave us 70 years of music, and now the iconic Tony Bennett is gone. The Grammy-winning singer who appealed to multiple generations died at age 96. While he was lucky enough to spend the vast majority of his life doing what he loved, Bennett's life took a detour when he was drafted to serve in World War II. He described the experience in a famous 2011 interview with Howard Stern, admitted he was scared, and said his time in the military made him a pacifist and, quote, eliminated all bigotry from my life, unquote. So here's some of that exchange. So Stern said, so when you were this young boy and you wanted to sing, this war going into the army interrupted your life and interrupted this passion. Bennett, I didn't look at it like that. Just everybody had to go to war. It was just one of those things. It was the most horrible war. Studs Terkel in Chicago called it the good war because it had to happen. Stern, there was nobody to stop Hitler. The Japanese were... Bennett, the worst philosophy in the world was created there. Bennett also talked about witnessing racism against a black friend of his, a best friend, pointing out that he, quote, had my stripes sliced from a bigot captain in the army, unquote. So here's that story, that exchange. So Tony Bennett on Howard's show said this. He was the greatest guy. He was a fantastic drummer, and we used to be in high school together. We met in Mannheim, Germany, in the Truman Hotel. It was Thanksgiving. He took me to his Baptist church, and I said, well, they're allowing me one guest in the Mannheim Truman Hotel. Why don't you join me? We'll have Thanksgiving dinner. He said, great. And so we were having fun, and the captain came over, and he said, Benedetto, that's my family name, get your gear, you're shipping out. They sent me to the graves registration, digging up bodies. Stern, you had to go to the graves, I guess, of Americans and dig their graves and exhume their bodies? Bennett, yes. Stern, what was the point of that? To bring them home? Bennett, no, just to bury them. Stern, that's a horrible thing to see. Bennett, it's eliminated all bigotry from my life as a result of that. It's a premise in my life that I think one of the most ignorant things that could ever happen are people that are bigoted about other people. And there's a clip here from that interview contained in this article, although I'm not going to play it just in case there's any profanity in it. Tony Bennett, I'm sure, doesn't swear at all, but Howard occasionally will. It's on satellite radio, of course. But So I didn't really know, honestly, until today. I mean, obviously I knew a lot about Tony Bennett's career. I did not know much about his civil rights activism and advocacy, and or his World War II experience. And it's interesting how one informed the other, how his experience in World War II really kind of solidified in him his rejection of any sort of bigotry or prejudice. And so that's really interesting. So I wanted to focus on that a little bit. Of course, everyone's talking about his music, but and that's important too. I mean, he really was able to bridge across multiple generations with his music. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's John Hopwood.
John Hopwood, how are you, sir?
Fine. How are you? You sound fine, except for being frightened by the coming storm.
I am. I'm frightened by the coming storm. I'm going to hide under the desk. I'm not really. The microphone won't reach.
Yeah, I'm older than you, so I did know that Tony Bennett was part of the civil rights movement.
Yes.
The woman was named Violet Liozzo, I believe, and she was murdered by the Ku Klux Klan after driving Tony to the the place of the concert. That came out in the mid-1970s because they were making a TV movie about this FBI informant with the Klan as a hero, played by Don Meredith, of all people. I know you won't know who Don Meredith is because he was not only a football player, but he was one of the co-hosts with Howard Cosell of, Monday Night Football.
Oh.
And it came out during the hearings into the abuses of FBI and CIA that he was an agent provocateur and that, he was likely responsible for the woman's murder, who then he turns the people that killed her in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was, but Tony Bennett was well known. Two other things. The Army was segregated during World War II. I actually have a friend who's long gone now, Mac, who was in the segregated Army. He was African American. He was in Patton's Army.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about him, yeah.
Yeah, so, but Tony Bennett being Italian probably was probably the subject of racism himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's talking, I think the captain was from the South. The Klan wasn't just about white supremacy. It was also against the Roman Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that, this is just when the Good War, which is an oral history about World War II came out, it was in quotes, the Good War, because people like Studs Terkel, who was a left-winger, and people of that generation, the great writers like Norman Mailer and Joseph Heller, who wrote Catch-22, which is the best novel ever written about the military, and they were as cynical about World War II as the World War I generation was cynical about that war.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in quotes. In other words, it wasn't such a great war.
Right.
But they actually took the quotes, the publisher, after it became a big, took the quotes out. And Studs wasn't very happy about that because he was pretty much a lefty and against war.
Yeah. I remember of course, on All in the Family, Archie Bunker would refer to it as WW2, the big one.
Well, 16 million men and quite a few women went to war, and the population was much smaller then, because people got drafted, and
when
they drafted everybody from 18 to 44.
Oh, really? It went as high as 44?
Yeah, because up in 1942, the year after Pearl Harbor, people were not enlisting.
Yeah. Well,
enlisting in the numbers they needed to fight two wars, one in the Pacific and one in Europe.
By the way, when did the Army, when did the military desegregate? Would that have been in line with the civil rights movement, or was that?
No, 1948.
Oh, 1948.
Harry Truman by executive order.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons Strom Thurmond and Southern Democrats broke off and created the Dixiecrat Party, because in the 1948 Democratic platform, there was civil rights planks. The Party of Civil Rights, up until, I would say, Reagan, or at least, it was the Republican Party. The Rockefeller family financially supported the NAACP and all of the historic black colleges in the South. That was part of the Republican legacy, but, that changed. And President Eisenhower is very much pro-civil rights.
Yes. Yep.
But then, things shifted, which is you could fill like a whole week's worth of shit about that.
By the way, the storm is here, apparently, because the EAS alert just went off here in the studio. Take cover!
But I'll just say, my father was in World War II, and he said there's anti-Semitism. Everybody hated each other, White people, which we call white people now, were called urban ethnics when I went to the university in the 70s, and they all disliked each other until they intermarried, and even then they disliked each other. But, but Tony Bennett, he was a great one, and he was there at Selma.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's been...
take care.
All right, John, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. All right, that was the great John Hopwood. That does open up the studio line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. By the way, if you are in... some people listening might have missed part of that discussion because the EAS alert did go off. It doesn't... but you can always go back later and check the podcast for what you missed. Not that the EAS interrupts for very long, but if you are in the Manchester, New Hampshire area, it's probably for all of and the surrounding areas. I would assume there is a terrible storm on the way if it hasn't already started. It is very dark outside for this time on a summer afternoon. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. I do want to move on, and I have more to say about the Jason Aldean song, but I also want to say hello to everybody quickly in the Facebook live chat. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry is in the chat room, as we mentioned earlier. Mike, of course, not only one of our great sponsors here with Queen City Cabinetry, in the historic Sunbeam Mall, speaking of war, named, of course, for the great General Sunbeam, the greatest military mind since sliced bread. You remember that next time you're enjoying a delicious sandwich. Remember and reflect on the freedom you have to enjoy that sandwich, and be thankful to General Sunbeam. And as you're thinking about that, think about taking a visit to Queen City Cabinetry for all your kitchen needs. Bring your kitchen to life with Mike. But not only is Mike one of our sponsors here at WMNH 95.3, but he's one of our co-hosts on Retro Spectrum Radio. So I always look forward to seeing him on Friday nights. JFed joins us in the chat from the great state of Vermont, says, good afternoon, everyone. Jenny is in the chat room, of course, and says, shalom, peeps. Easy G joins us in the chat and says, happy freaking Friday to all peeps. My goodness. JFed says, we are getting some much needed rain. I think he's making a joke, of course. Vermont does not currently need any more rain. And if you've seen those images from Montpelier, Vermont, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Eric Pilcher is in the Facebook live chat. Of course, it is Friday, which means in a little bit we're going to hear Eric's classic film review, as we do every Friday. And this week the subject is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And this week also... sorry if I sounded distracted there. One of the computers just had a window pop open on it that I've never seen before. Must have something to do with the storm. But of course, he also joins us on Wednesdays for a segment that I call My Favorite Conservative in the first hour on Wednesdays. And this week, John Hopwood joined us, and John expressed his deep displeasure with Eric's chosen candidate to endorse for the Republican nomination. But it was actually pretty funny. You should go back and listen to it. John's reaction was funny. Melanie La Liberty, also from the great state of Vermont, says, happy blanking Friday. I can't say that naughty word on the air, of course, but the chat room is uncensored. Tom Blanchard joins us in the chat room and says, I better get more gas for the lawnmower. Yeah, that's true. The rain does make everything grow, all this rain we've had. Melanie says, I just noticed Easy G and I have the same almost comment. Yeah, not quite. I don't think Easy G has much of a potty mouth. I think he blushes at naughty words. Let's see. Easy G says, welcome back to me. Yes, welcome back. John Hopwood is in the chat room and says, I thought you were going to talk about Tony Bennett's career as an actor, playing Jaime Kelly in the Oscar, year 1966. I'm not familiar with that. I didn't know that. Let's see. DJ Steve, I mentioned, is in the chat room. Melanie says, didn't you sit in with Tony Bennett one night? That's kind of a running joke around here. Rhonda Favero joins us in the chat room from California. She says, I saw Tony in concert, voice like silk. Yes. By the way, and Miriam Banish joins us in the chat room and says, good afternoon. Quite a storm out there. Yeah, I'm glad I'm safe and sound in here. I actually enjoy a good thunderstorm as long as I'm not driving in it or caught in it. I'm one of those people, I don't like to get caught in the rain. I don't like the way wet clothes feel on my skin. There's something gross about it. I'm like a cat. I don't like to get wet, except when I bathe, obviously. One other interesting thing about Tony Bennett, and then we will move on because I do want to talk more about the Jason Aldean controversy about that song. But just interesting to me. So, what was it? It had to be at least a couple of years ago. He had done something with Lady Gaga. They did a concert, and I'm sure it's on DVD and you can stream it. They did a duets concert together, or maybe they put out an album, or maybe both. I'm sure there's video of it too. And Lady Gaga, I think this was also in a Howard Stern interview. She was talking about how, Tony Bennett had been diagnosed, I think in 2016 with Alzheimer's disease. And apparently at the point where he and Lady Gaga did that concert together, he was really struggling at that point to remember a lot of things. But when he was on stage, anytime, if she said to him or someone said to him, Tony, it's time for whatever the song was that they were about to do, he could remember the lyrics and sing the song flawlessly. Like just like when he was younger, just no problem. He could, and it is interesting too, how people with, whether it's Alzheimer's or types of dementia, very often, they'll forget things, of course, and that's what happens. But, or even just, getting older and just the memory starts to slip a little bit. But people who have these issues, they might have difficulty remembering certain things, but when it comes to music, they can, and there's been studies that show even people with advanced Alzheimer's, they can remember songs. It's like songs are just so permanently ingrained in the mind. It's just really interesting. Yeah, Miriam says music is something that stays with you. John Hopwood says music comes from the other side of the brain, doesn't it? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I just, I thought that was interesting. All right. I want to circle back to, if you missed yesterday's show, we spent some time on this yesterday in the second hour, but the new Jason Aldean single, Try That in a Small Town, is getting some controversy. And I shared my thoughts yesterday. Now, people who are very critical of the song are saying that the song is racist and the video for it is racist. And I played the song yesterday on the show, and this controversy had been going on for a little bit, but I had intentionally avoided listening to the song because I wanted to listen to it live on the air and give it my off the cuff, on the spot reactions to it and get feedback from the audience, of course. Without any, I wanted to do that without really having time to think about it or sit on it for a while. I wanted to just give you my instant reaction. And my verdict upon listening to the song was not guilty. I do not feel that the song in and of itself is racist. Now, Now, what I did say is, and we'll get to the video in a moment because I hadn't seen the video yet. I was actually, initially, I was going to play the video, and not that you would see it because it's a radio show, but I was going to play it here on this computer and listen to the song while the video was playing so I could see the video at the same time I was listening to the song. But then DJ Steve in the chat room gave me the heads up and said, Matt, I think there's an S-bomb in there. And he was right, there is. So I had to find a radio edit of the song. When I was a kid, country artists never swore in songs. But, these days, everyone's trying to be edgy. Use a bad word. It makes you edgy and cool. So I had to find a radio edit. So I did not play the video. I just played the radio edit of the song that has the bad word removed. Miriam says in the chat room, I did not like the video at all, and I'm not sure if listening gives the same message. We'll get to that. Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. But my verdict on the song itself, I said not guilty. But what I did say was, I can see how someone who maybe is racist would really like the song, really like the lyrics, because some of the imagery in it about good old boys and don't mess with us and whatnot, some of that I can see how that might evoke for some people, as it did for me, I guess, because I can empathize with someone having a certain kind of reaction to those lyrics. But I did not feel that the lyrics in and of themselves were racist. And, music is art, and art is subjective, and you can project onto or take from whatever it is when it's art. It doesn't matter if it's music or if it's a painting that you look at. Two people can look at a painting and see completely different things, or it might affect them in different ways. People read books and have different interpretations about what they've read, and anything, any kind of art that's created. Now, some things are blatant, some things are subtle, including, what the message is that maybe the person who created the art is trying to put across. But listen, it is not unusual. We had a discussion. In fact, it was with John Hopwood. I see your comment, John, and yes, we will. I did talk about that yesterday, by the way. But we'll get to that with the video. That is a very good point. But speaking of John, so we had a discussion here one day on the show about Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner, and some of the lyrics in that, some people interpret. I say interpret because, again, even music critics have different ideas about what the song is really saying. In terms of, it mentions George Wallace in the song, not by name, but he's mentioned in there, and segregationist, of course, as he was governor of Alabama. But people have different interpretations of that. Some people think Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner is racist. Some people don't. Some people say, I don't know. I think that, again, talking only about the song, not the video yet, but speaking only about the song itself, I don't think the song is racist. But again, I understand how someone coming from a particular point of view might project something onto it that may or may not be intended, maybe is intended. There are such things as dog whistles and, subtly implied messages. But I think that I tried to think of it this way. If you were to play that song for me, if you were to say, Matt, listen to this song, and I had no idea about any of the controversy, and you just played me that song and said, Matt, pay attention to the lyrics and then tell me what you think. Do you think does anything about this bother you? And I just listened to it. I would say, no, it sounds like a standard modern country song about life in a small town and we're tough and don't mess with us. And, I probably wouldn't think of it much more beyond that, to be honest. So I do not think the song itself is racist. Now, the video, let's get to the video. I did watch the video after the show. My ultimate conclusion, my verdict actually does not change. I come to the same conclusion. I don't think that I did not perceive the video as racist, but I did not perceive the video as sort of innocuous as the song either. The video definitely very politically charged, with the imagery of riots, and although there is one thing never mind. I don't want to muddle things with mentioning that, but most of the imagery was, a lot of people rioting and things like that, people burning the American flag and whatnot. Again, the video in and of itself, definitely politically charged and definitely coming from a certain political point of view, shall we say, ideologically, no question about that. The song itself, I don't think is politically charged. The video is, absolutely is. But the video in and of itself, that's probably as much as I would say about it. But again, as we discussed yesterday on the show, and John brings it up in the chat room, the video was filmed at a courthouse where a black man was lynched. That is problematic. That bothers me quite a bit. Now, apparently that location, a lot of things are filmed there. That's a popular filming location. It is quite possible, you might think this naive of me, but I do think that sometimes people, when people are culturally insensitive or racially insensitive, however you want to think about it, sometimes it's because, they do have some prejudice, be it overt or sort of beneath the surface. And sometimes people are just oblivious because they don't think about those things. I can imagine that it is, I'm willing to, let me put it this way, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt that either they didn't know or it didn't occur to them that that might be a problem. It's entirely possible, just nobody realized it. Now, I can tell you that when I first read that, that bothered me. I said, well, that's not good. But again, I'm willing to offer some benefit of the doubt on that. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Eric Pilcher calling in.
Well, hello, Eric Pilcher.
Hey. I just wanted to chime in on this Jason Aldean situation here real quick. I have a few minutes left of my lunch break.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Let's not act like here that Jason Aldean has never been in the headlines for any reason for his political views.
Right.
His views are, at best, borderline alt-right. His wife has said some pretty inflammatory things. So while I understand and appreciate your point about how you don't think there was any malicious intent there, I'm going to flip it and say I think the evidence against him dictates otherwise.
Interesting. Help me out with something here, Eric, because I don't know anything about his wife.
His wife has said some pretty inflammatory things. I mean, I don't have the information in front of me because I'm at my work desk.
Yeah.
I don't dare look it up on my work computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, his wife, Brittany, I believe is her name, has said some pretty shocking things. And he has as well. I mean, they've been borderline, like, typical conservative views on certain aspects of society.
Sure.
But then you couple those statements with the music video in the song. And it's like, okay, the evidence doesn't give you a free pass.
Right.
And that's my point. It's the evidence, the past actions he has committed doesn't give him this free pass. I ask this: if Kid Rock had done this song, Kid Rock be given a free pass? No.
No.
Would Ted Nugent? Absolutely not. Would Hank Williams Jr., who called a sitting president, compared him to Hitler?
Ted Nugent also comes to mind. Yeah. By the way, when I look up Brittany Aldean, I don't find anything racist, but I do find I guess she caused quite a bit of a stir over some transphobic comments.
Oh yeah,
that she made.
Like, I'm just saying in general, some pretty deplorable views from that family. So this isn't like, to me, when I heard who the artist was that did it, I'm like, oh, okay, not entirely shocking.
Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I put him in the same boat as Kid Rock and Ted Nugent and Hank Williams Jr. Just a conservative, and I'm not even going to call them a conservative. To me, they are alt-right. Alt-right individual that has a very large platform with a very ignorant fan base that buys into this crap.
Interesting. I didn't know much. I'm not a big country guy. I've never paid much attention. I've always been aware of Jason Aldean, especially, working in the music business, but I never knew much about him. I kind of just assume that most of these artists are pretty right-wing anyway, although sometimes people get it wrong. For example, Toby Keith, when he put out that song after 9/11, after we went to war invading Iraq and Afghanistan, he put out that song courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Everyone assumed that he was a right-wing conservative, and he was actually a registered Democrat at the time, so you never know. But yeah, I didn't know much about Jason Aldean until this, to be honest with you.
I just wish that, again, I want to say this carefully. I just wish if you have that platform, you would use it for good.
Right.
And use it in a way that could bring people together. You can't sit there, and he didn't even write the song. Someone posted in the group about and everything they posted is 100% factual. It came out in May.
Mm-hmm.
They did use payola to get CMT to ban it. It wasn't even written by him.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't write, from what I understand. That is something I did learn about him. I guess most of his hits are written by other people. He performs, but he doesn't actually write. Not that there's anything wrong. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not a knock on him. I'm just saying, though, it's interesting that he doesn't. Because most country artists they do write their own music.
Right, and probably should have chosen a better word there than right, but whatever. Yeah, it's just utterly insane to me that, like, there are people defending this. Especially, I get it's a popular place to film scenes.
Yeah.
But then you look again, the totality of the evidence.
Right,
and
right.
It's like, how do you not know this? And, I mean, I haven't watched the music video. I honestly have no desire to watch the music video.
Yeah.
I listened to the song, and I was just like, this is up there with the 45 bands singing the national anthem. This is just, it's just a way to generate fake controversy for him to puff his chest out and be patriotic.
Well, it does.
I mean, to make it worse, Iowa's governor posted on Facebook today, a great day to listen to Jason Aldean.
Yeah, a lot of people are posting on social media, I stand with Jason Aldean and all this. But let me ask you this, though, Eric. If you had heard that song, I understand what you're saying about, the totality of the evidence and the context and everything. But if you had just heard that song without knowing who it was, do you think you would have had the same reaction?
I probably would have been like, oh, it's a modern country song.
Yeah.
Most of them are black-jawed yokels. So probably a touch of racism there.
Okay.
But again, I would have erred on the side of I would have erred on the side of that to begin with, without hearing the song. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask.
Well, no, I'm curious. It's very, because one of the things that's interesting to me about a moment like this, where something like this is happening, it isn't even so much the controversy itself that I'm fascinated by. I'm fascinated by how different people process this. You know, especially someone like you who thinks about these things a little bit deeper instead of just saying, "Okay, I'm going to check a box. I'm either outraged or I'm not outraged." You actually think about these things. So that's why it's interesting to discuss something like this with you and get your perspective.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I just looked at, I read the name and I'm like, oh no. Oh, why?
But if you didn't know who it was and you heard the song, you wouldn't. I just want to know if I have this right.
I would have. I'm kind of in the boat with you on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have inferred much from it than what I've heard from people that have watched the video.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't watch this show anymore, but I have a funny feeling South Park is going to take a hit on this one.
Oh, I'm sure. Wow, South Park, that's still on. That's amazing, isn't it? That's over 30 years, right? That's been on?
1997.
Oh my God. Not as long as The Simpsons, but still, that's a long time. Wow.
Yes. But my lunch break is over. I just wanted to chime in.
I'm glad you did. Thank you for the call, Eric. I appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Bye. All right, bye-bye. All right, that was our friend Eric Pilcher, and I'm going to hold off just a couple more minutes, though, on Eric's review, because I see Billy Painter from Outlaw Radio is in the chat room, and he says, I have to call in once Eric is done. So, Billy, go ahead. The line is open, sir, if you want to get in, and then we can hold for a few minutes on Eric's review. And, yep, here he is. Billy Painter is on the line. Hey, Billy, or Bad Billy, as you like to say.
Hey, how you doing? Actually, for the new podcast I actually go by Billy Painter for that one.
I think that's good. I've always thought Billy Painter is just a cool sounding name to begin with. If I've influenced you in any way, I'm glad. But if I haven't, that's fine too. But I think that's great. You should use that name. That's good.
You're fading out a little bit. I don't know what's wrong with the lines, but no, Outlaw Radio is where I take off the gloves. Where this new one, I keep it more clean and professional. Gotcha.
But
I didn't call so much to talk about Jason Aldean and try that in a small town. I will just make a quick comment on that. Is me being from a small town myself. Eric Pilcher, I love you to death, brother, but I have to disagree with you because I listen to the lyrics very closely, and whereas the video is very controversial, I don't think there's anything racist about that song. Being from a small town, I understand it a lot more than others, I think. So, and to me, it's about a community that stands together when the poop hits the fan. So.
Yeah, I think. I think that's basically what Eric was saying, but he's looking at it as he's looking at Jason Aldean in a larger context, instead of necessarily the song itself.
But that's all I'm going to say on that, because Jason Aldean is not the only country artist who's in the line of fire right now. I can't remember if you commented on Luke Combs and his cover of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car.
I did catch something about that. Yeah, some people are mad about Luke Combs covering her song. I think that controversy started to bubble up, but then I think, at least on my radar, the Jason Aldean thing kind of flew in and crowded out the Luke Combs, Tracy Chapman thing, and I lost track of it. But I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I'm going to end up agreeing with you, but go ahead.
Well, I can understand why there's a controversy over Jason Aldean and what he did, but this is just utterly very, very stupid. And The reason why Luke Combs covered the song is because he fell in love with it as a child, and connected to the song, and just felt the need to cover it. And not only that, he didn't change any lyrics. He even, because Tracy Chapman wrote in the song, "I work in the market as a checkout girl," and he didn't change that. He said "checkout girl," even though we know he's a guy. And when that song was nominated for Grammys, she grossed millions off of it.
Sure.
But some idiot over at the Washington Post, and I'm gonna quote what was said here. As Luke Combs' hit cover of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car dominates the country charts, it's bringing up some complicated emotions in fans and singers who know that Chapman, as a queer black woman, would have almost no chance of that achievement herself. She's nominated for Grammys. She grossed millions off of her first album, and then Tracy Chapman herself came out and praised the song and thought that Luke Combs did a good job, and said she never expected to be on the country charts, but she's honored to be there.
Right.
And so for somebody who just came out and said that is just complete ignorance on that on their part, without doing any research on the song, because not only is, obviously Luke Combs is making money off of the song himself, but so is Tracy Chapman. Every time it plays, they're both getting paid.
Yeah, and actually, because she's the one who wrote it, she's getting more of that money than he is. And you're right. It says here, there's a quote from Tracy Chapman. She says, "The success of my cover is unreal, and I think it's so cool." Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Luke. That's a Luke Combs quote. He said, "The success of my cover is unreal, and I think it's so cool that Tracy is getting recognized and has reached new milestones." But it does say in this article, too, that Tracy Chapman has been very supportive and approves of his cover of her song. So she's on board. So there's really... there's always going to be somebody who finds something wrong in a situation like this, but... I found the quote from Chapman. She said, "I never expected to find myself on the country charts, but I'm honored to be there. I'm happy for Luke and his success and grateful that new fans have found and embraced Fast Car." Yep, so there you go.
Yep. There's a reason why Tracy Chapman doesn't have a smartphone, doesn't have a Facebook or a Twitter, or stays off all that. She very rarely talks to the press. There's got to be a reason to that, Obviously, she hasn't said anything about the stupidity, and I don't think she wants to be tied up in it.
Yeah. Better to remain above the fray if you can, And I'm sure she's, she's had a lot of success. I'm sure she has enough money. She can kind of stay out of it, not have to get into the muck and the mire of it all. A Fast Car is probably her biggest hit, but she had a couple other really big hits. Give Me One Reason, I think, is the title. That's also a big song. That might even be a bigger hit now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, she's had a lot of success herself.
Yeah, that Give Me One Reason, that came out, I think, of 96, and I remember it didn't get stopped playing for the longest time.
Oh yeah. So she's done, and she had a couple others too. She's done very well.
Yeah, so to put her race and her sexual preference into it and say she can't make that kind of achievement is just pure ignorance.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you, Billy. I thought I might. I figured I knew where you were going with that. No, I'm in complete agreement. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, I don't know what's wrong with the connection, but you're fading in and out, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here.
There's some very bad weather going on here, so that probably has something to do with it. But Billy Painter, wonderful to hear from you, my friend.
You bet. You have a wonderful day.
All right, man. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Billy Painter from Outlaw Radio, and he also has his newer show that he does with John Grosvenor out of Nashua. Billy is in Idaho, but John Grosvenor is local here in Nashua, New Hampshire, just up the road there. And they do a show together called Patriot Confederation. Let's do this. We are a little bit past the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and get to Eric's film review. Let's see. And this week, the subject is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Great film. I haven't watched that in a long time, but we got into a little bit of a discussion about it too recently with John Hopwood when he was here. But we're going to do this. Actually, I'm sorry. I've got things in the wrong order here. We're going to take a break and show some love to our amazing sponsors first. And then, they pay the bills. So we'll do that. And then we're going to go from there directly into Eric's film review. And then after that, we will come back with the balance of our program. So there is plenty more to come today here on Matt Connerton Unleashed. Don't go away. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
447149, Jack! Tell me something. What the hell is happening here? It's flight number 19. 19 what? It's that training mission from the Naval Air Station at Fort Lauderdale. They were doing target runs on an old Hulk. Who flies crates like these anymore? No one. These planes were reported missing in 1945. It looks brand new! Where's the pilot? I don't understand! Where's the crew? Hey! How the hell did it get here?
Aliens, extraterrestrials, pod people, Martians, space invaders, no matter what they have been called, beings from other planets, or even other galaxies, have enthralled, captivated, and even caused fear in film audiences since the beginning of film. One film made audience feel all of these emotions, and even added one of the most important feelings we can have. That is hope. Released in 1977, directed by Steven Spielberg, coming off his successful third film, Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind introduces us to Roy Neary, played by Richard Dreyfuss, a line worker in Indiana that while on a job encounters an alien spacecraft that changes him from everyday working stiff to a man obsessed with beings from other worlds. Rounding out the starring cast is Terry Garr, Melinda Dillon, Bob Balaban, and acclaimed French director Francois Truffaut. The introductory clip sets up the arrival of the beings, with the mysterious reappearance of planes in the Sonoran Desert that has long been thought to be lost flying over the Bermuda Triangle. Our next clip builds the tension when air traffic controllers have to prevent two aircrafts from colliding in the air with a UFO. What makes this scene important is it beautifully builds tension that is noticeable throughout the film. And notice, at the end of the scene, the unwillingness by multiple parties to acknowledge a possible UFO that could be interpreted as disbelief that is constantly present throughout this film.
TWA 471, contact 134.4. 344, what's this?
Harry, keep an eye on that point out I gave you. He's on 122.5. I'll be right back.
Indianapolis Center, you have any traffic for Aries 31?
Aries 31 negative. The only traffic I have is a TWA L1011 in your 6 o'clock position, range 15 miles. And an Allegheny DC-9 in your 12 o'clock position, 50 miles. Stand by 1, I'll take a look at broadband over.
Aries 31 has traffic 2 o'clock, slightly above and descending.
Aries 31, roger. I have a primary target about that position now. I have no known high altitude traffic. Stand by 1, I'll check low, over. Dick, will you check low altitude and see if they know who this is?
Center Aries 31, the traffic's not lower than us. It's 1 o'clock now, still above me and descending.
Aries 31, can you say aircraft type?
Negative, Center. No distinct outline. To tell you the truth, the target is rather brilliant. It has the brightest anti-collision lights I think I've ever seen, alternating white to red. Colors are a little striking.
Center, this is TWA 517. Traffic now looks like extra bright landing lights. I thought Aries had his landing lights on.
Could be a satellite.
Aries 31, I have the primary target now in your 10 o'clock position, 5 miles.
I've never seen one like that.
The traffic is proceeding northeastbound, no altitude readout.
Roger, Center. It doesn't appear it's going to be a problem now. He's at about 1,500 feet below me. Wait a second. Stand by 1. Okay, Center. Aries 31, the traffic is turned. He's heading right for my windshield. We're turning right immediately and leaving flight level 350 now.
Aries 31, descend and maintain flight level 310. Break, Allegheny 444, turn right 30 degrees.
Get on the heart of the 45th Recon Way. See what the hell they could be testing up there.
An Aries jet descending to
This is Indianapolis Center. Do you have any test operations restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue descend at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. Center pilot's discretion is approved. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. And right by us, right now. Now, that was really close. Aries 31 is out of 340 on the traffic path.
Ask them if they want to report officially.
TWA 517, do you want to report a UFO, over? TWA 517, do you want to report a UFO? Over.
Negative. We don't want to report.
Aries 31, do you wish to report a UFO? Over.
Negative. We want to report one of those either.
Aries 31, do you wish to file a report of any kind? Over.
I wouldn't know what kind of report to file, Center.
Aries 31, me neither. I'll try to track traffic to destination. Over.
That disbelief and unwillingness to acknowledge eventually turns into panic and fear. Our next scene takes place at a radio telescope center where a group of individuals are trying to decipher the signal being sent from the beings. Their inability to do so leads to them comedically rolling a $2,500 giant globe down the hallway to pin down the coordinates that the beings are sending them. The conclusion of this scene also briefly introduces us to Truffaut's famed role of Claude Lancôme.
Here are the patterns. We just received two 15-minute broadcasts. Are these non-random signals? 104 rapid pulses. After a 5-second interval, 40 pulses. Another 5-second break and 30 pulses. 60 seconds of silence and then an entirely new set of numbers. 40, break 5, 36, break 5, 10. 104 rapid pulses. Lord. Wait 60 seconds and the whole doggone thing repeats.
Where are these signals coming from?
Right in the neighborhood. Light travel time roughly 7 seconds. It's well within the plane of the eclipse.
Are these non-random signals here? 40, 36, 10? In response to that?
No, they should be. We've been sending out this musical combination for weeks, but all we're getting back are numbers.
This could mean the India Sound reached a dead end. They help me with that?
There's still so much that we don't know.
How about where the signals originated?
Excuse me.
What letter is 104? Excuse me. Before I got paid to speak French, I used to read maps. This first number is a longitude. Yeah. 2 sets of 3 numbers. Degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, the first number has 3 digits, and the last 2 are below 60. Obviously, it's not in right ascension and declination on the sky. These have to be Earth coordinates.
Surely somebody has There's a globe in the county supervisor's office.
What we need.
Maybe there's a release pin underneath.
Get it under there. Let's get it down. That's a $2,500 globe. What are you guys doing?
Watch your feet.
Let me get the money.
No, clear us through. Okay, cut.
Everybody calm down. Hold it down. Quiet. That's not right. The antenna. How dumb. Huh? Well, which way is the antenna pointing? Northeast. Which way? Continuing. All right.
We're going to need a geodetic survey map of Wyoming. I want this down to the square
Get
yard.
the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, man, geodetic survey map.
Écoutez, je reçois des informations maintenant. Écoutez. Écoutez.
There are quite a few memorable performances in this film. The aforementioned Truffaut in Balaban. Melinda Dillon, you may know her as the mother from the film A Christmas Story. But there is one that does stand out, and that is the performance of Dreyfuss as Neary. There were many considered for this role, as mentioned on Wednesday's episode of Matt Connerton Unleashed, including Gene Hackman. And one of the biggest film debates is how this role would have been with Gene Hackman as Neary. Despite this, Dreyfuss does this role justice in encapsulating the essence of Neary. Our last 2 scenes show this. First, we hear Neary as an everyday family man trying to teach his son about fractions. Then, at the peak of his obsession, in broad daylight, Neary begins digging up dirt, trees, and throwing it through the windows of his house, and even trash. His neighbors are watching this crazed behavior, and this eventually leads to his family leaving him. This clip also showcases Terry Garr's amazing, understated performance as his wife, Ronnie.
I don't have to do your problems for you. You do your problems for you. That's why I graduated, so I don't have to do problems.
I don't understand these fractions.
All right, what's 1/3 of 60?
That's a fraction. I don't understand it.
All right, look. Let's say that this boxcar is 60 feet long, okay?
Okay.
And 1/3 of it is across this switch here. All right? Okay? And now another train is coming. Now, how far do you have to move this boxcar off the track so that the other train doesn't smash it? Quickly, Brad. There are thousands of lives at stake. Brad, any answer?
And now, Roy's breakdown.
Oh, Roy!
Come on in!
Dad, after this, could we throw dirt in my window?
Stop it. Honey, if I don't do this, that's when I'm gonna need a doctor.
What are you doing?
I got it!
What are you doing?
I figured it out, that's all. Will you just listen?
No.
Ronnie, look. You ever look at something when it's crazy and then you look at it in another way and it's not crazy at all?
No, I haven't, no.
Come on, Ronnie. Just listen.
I don't know what
If
you're
you just
doing.
close your eyes for 5 minutes, just close your eyes and hold your breath.
No.
Everything will be really pretty.
Roy, you're scaring us now.
Don't be scared. Just don't be scared. I feel really good. Everything's gonna be all right. I haven't felt this good in years. Everything's gonna be okay. I can feel it. You know what else? What else? What else? Right. Chicken wire.
Whatever you're doing is against the law. He's putting it back, Mrs. Harris.
I'll pay you for this.
Take it. Take it.
I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah. You let go of this fence right now. You come with me. Do you want me to hit you? You let go of that fence. Toby, listen to me. Listen to me. Please, come on. Right now, we're going. Come on. Come on. You let go of the fence. Come on. Stay. Stay. Where are we going? Where are we going? Just get in the car. Where are we going? Quietly, quickly, get Where in are we this going? Get in there, Toby. Quickly. Dad needs some more help.
Okay,
lock the doors. Lock
Honey?
the doors. Dad needs some more help. Quiet. Just lock the doors.
Honey?
Lock the windows. Dad needs some more help.
Honey, where are you going?
What?
Where are you going?
Taking the kids to my sister's.
It's crazy. You're not even dressed.
What? He said what?
Honey, hold! You what? You hold it 1 minute!
This film was wrought with production problems that led to the film's release being delayed from a summer blockbuster to a limited release in November of 1977 and a national release December 14th of 1977. It started slow, grossing a tad over $10 million its opening weekend. More theaters were added the week before Christmas, and the film made over $24 million by the end of the second week. Overall, it made $288 million worldwide. It was the most successful Columbia Pictures film at that point and saved the fledgling studio from ruin. Critics have heralded the film since, and it is one of the most highly regarded science fiction films. The Academy Awards took notice, giving the film 9 nominations, including Best Director for Spielberg and Best Supporting Actress for Melinda Dillon. It won 2, for Best Cinematography and Special Achievement. This film is breathtaking with its music, lighting, special effects, and its gripping, compelling story was one not seen in science fiction to that point. When this review started, I spoke of hope. The hope this film conveys is that we should not fear those beings, humans or otherwise, that we do not know. We should seek them to find answers and make the unknown known. That is the message of hope that this film conveys to me, and a message we should all view and carry with us in earnest. I hope you join me next week when we will look at the film that gave Quentin Tarantino his start in Hollywood. This film is written by Tarantino and directed by Tony Scott. We will look at the crime romance caper, True Romance. For WMNH and Matt Connerton Unleashed, this has been a Classic Film Review with Eric Pilcher.
Fast car, and I wanna take it to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car, and I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far, just to cross the border and into the city. And you and I can both get jobs, finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. You live in the bottle, that's the way it is. Said his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. So mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's gotta take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live or die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruising, entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. So I work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted, and we'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house, live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Now I got a job that pays all our bills. We stay out drinking late at the bar. See more of your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me'd find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody, as we cruise into our final segment today, or of the week, really, here on Matt Connerton Unleashed on this Friday afternoon. By the way, there were a couple of EAS warnings, so I did hear the words flash flood, which we hear quite a bit lately, so I hope everybody is safe out there if you're local to this area. Or wherever you are, wherever you might be listening from, I hope you're safe. But this is Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, and hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Friday, July 21, 2023. Nice to have you all with me. By the way, it is Friday, which means it's my long day here at WMNH, and I do love it so, because not only do we have this program for another about 22 minutes, but I will be back tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paul E.C., as we do every Friday night, and I have the honor and privilege of being one of Paul's co-hosts on that show, along with our friends DJ Steve and, of course, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall, who not only one of our great sponsors here at WMNH, but also one of our co-hosts on Retro Spectrum Radio. And here's what Paul posted on social media for tonight's show. We'll be featuring our third installment of original versions of popular songs that you had no idea were covers by your favorite bands. By the way, this is the kind of show I love, where I get to learn stuff. I'm really looking forward to tonight. And of course, an all new Name That 9 at 9. Will DJ Steve hold his title? That's the part I don't look forward to as much because DJ Steve always crushes me, and it is humiliating and embarrassing as I experience the defeat at the hands of DJ Steve. But, I swear too, like, when we do that, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, so we do that Name That 9 at 9. Paul plays 9 riffs, just little snippets of songs, and then we have to figure out what they are. And very, very often, Steve just beats me by a hair. One of us has to say, got it, when we know what it is. And Steve will he gets it a half second quicker than I do. But perhaps tonight I will make my rousing comeback. I'm not sure I've ever beaten him. I think he wins every week. But that's okay. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Join us for the fun, speaking of fun, at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. And don't forget, next Friday night on the 28th, we'll be joined in studio by the lovely and talented producer and director Aaron Zadofsky. Don't miss it. That'll be fun, too. And by the way, we do recommend, if you're going to join us online for Retro Spectrum Radio, please sign into the Facebook live chat, but also open a second tab on your browser at WMNHradio.org and click Listen Live. Paul does mute the audio on the Facebook feed, so we'd love to have you in the chat room to talk with us. But open a second tab on your browser to listen to the show uninterrupted, unimpeded, in stereo. Have you heard about this? It's a new thing. Stereophonic or something. It's great. All the kids are talking about it. It's very exciting. But but we do look forward to that. So that will be tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. In the meantime, so we have a few minutes left on today's show. If you'd like to get in with a call, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. By the way, thank you to our friend Eric Pilcher for a great film review, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Eric's reviews are a very popular segment on the show. We look forward to every Friday with those. I also threw in a little bonus after that before we came back. I played Fast Car by Luke Combs, the cover of the Tracy Chapman song that our friend Billy Painter was talking about when he called in. And there was a little bit of controversy about that, but that seems to have blown over and been replaced largely by the Jason Aldean controversy. But the Luke Combs controversy is really much ado about nothing. I had not listened to his version of that. I'm going to tell you this, and this might get me in a little trouble with some people, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I kind of like his version better. Now, part of that might be because I've just heard the original 100,000 times, because that was a monster hit when I was a kid. That was a huge hit song. So maybe part of it is just being tired of hearing the Tracy Chapman version, but I really like, I'm not a big country guy, so I haven't heard much of Luke Combs. I've been aware of him. I think he's young. I think he's relatively new on the scene, so we say, but I really like his voice, and I really like the way he does that song. And I do appreciate, and I was listening for it too, because Billy had pointed this out when he puts it in, when he called in rather, when Luke Combs did the song, he was so respectful and so faithful to the original in terms of the lyrics that he doesn't even change that line about, working as a checkout girl. He kept the line exactly the way it is. He doesn't change it to working as a checkout boy or working as a checkout guy or something. He kept the lyrics exactly the way she wrote them, which very, very cool that he did that. No, I like it. I'm glad Billy mentioned that when he called. Eric Nanarone says in the chat room, good song. And Tom Blanchard says, I'm going to have some birthday cake this weekend and maybe get a little wiser. I don't know about that, LOL. Does birthday cake make you wise? Oh, I get it. It's your birthday and you'll be older and wiser. Yes. Well, happy birthday, Tom Blanchard. Apparently it is Tom's birthday this weekend. So very good. I don't eat birthday cake anymore myself. The last time I had a piece of birthday cake, I talked about this on the show, it was a couple of months ago. I hadn't eaten anything like that for a really long time with that much sugar. I never had much of a sweet tooth anyway. Maybe growing up I did, but as an adult I never have. So it's not like I eat a lot of that stuff. But I had gone a really long time without eating anything like that. And the last time I had a piece of birthday cake, the stomach ache that I had after going a long time without having all that sugar, all that white sugar at once. Ooh, it was so uncomfortable. I really think that was my body's way of saying, hey, dude, you don't eat this stuff anymore. What are you doing? It was so, I'm not trying to ruin your thoughts of birthday cake, Tom. I'm sorry. It was so uncomfortable. I almost thought there was something medically wrong with me. The best way I can describe it is this. You know the sensation you get when you have heartburn? It was like having heartburn, but in my stomach. It wasn't a normal stomach ache, like we feel like, oh, I ate too much or something like that. No, it was like having heartburn, but in my stomach. It was alarming, frankly. And I just said, that's it. No more for me. Tom says chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. See, that does sound good, Tom. That sounds delicious. And yet, I would not eat it myself, only because of what happened to me the last time. Granted, the last time when I did have a piece of somebody's birthday cake, it was vanilla. It was not chocolate. Maybe the chocolate would be okay. I don't know. Scott Robinson says, what about pineapple upside down cake? That's delicious. I have to tell you, Scott, that sounds disgusting to me, actually. But pineapple, anything sounds disgusting to me. I think that pineapple, I dare say, is the devil's food. What do they put in devil's food cake? Is it pineapple? I have no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. By the way, lots of positive feedback in the chat room for Eric's film review. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says, of course, Eric reviewed Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says, absolutely my favorite movie. And Melanie says, great movie, makes me crave mashed potatoes. Yes, that is a famous scene in the film. Jeff Nine joins us in the chat room and says, Hawaiian pizza with extra pineapple is the best? Are you out of your mind? Are you literally from hell? That is the food of Satan. You cannot eat that. That is horrible. I can't, frankly, Jeff, I like you. I think you're a wonderful person, but I must tell you, in this particular moment, I am aghast. Aghast, I say. Oh, I'm going to, this has never happened in the history of the program, and I don't think it would necessarily, I don't think management would like this very much, but I might actually begin vomiting uncontrollably right here on the air. Miriam Banish says, there is no pineapple in Devil's Food Cake, LOL. Okay, well, but you can understand why I wondered if there might be, the food of Satan, that pineapple, anything pineapple flavored. Pineapple itself. I mean, I can't think of a single pineapple flavored thing that I would find even remotely enjoyable. You know how they have the multiverse theory, the idea that there's an infinite number of multiverses and different versions of all of us in these different multiverses. Even if that's true, I know this, even if there is an infinite number of other versions of me, none of them like pineapple on anything. I know this. I don't even really believe in the multiverse theory, but I'm just saying, if there is such a thing, or things, there is no version of me that likes pineapple. And even if there was, it's not like we would ever know. You can't prove that there's a version of me that likes pineapple. And granted, I can't prove that there isn't. Tom Blanchard says, yeah, Matt, why do you have to cut off an inch of peel to get those? What? I don't even know what you're talking about, Tom. I don't eat that, so I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't eat anything where you have to cut things off and peel things off, and that's disgusting. I like food that is low maintenance. You don't have to peel things, you just eat it. You take the food and you just eat it and enjoy it. That's why I like pizza. You don't even need utensils. You just pick up a piece of pizza, you shove it in your mouth. No pineapple on the pizza. If there's pineapple on the pizza, I won't be eating the pizza at all. But if there's no pineapple, I'm just going to take that pizza, and no olives either. I don't like olives or onions. Onions on pizza is also disgusting. There's a lot of really strangely disgusting things that people put on pizza. Sometimes people ask me, they'll say, Matt, what do you recommend? How do you keep your pizza delicious? I'll tell you how. It's very, very simple. when you're choosing your toppings for your pizza, you should only choose delicious toppings. If you put delicious toppings on your pizza will be delicious. On the other hand, if you choose disgusting toppings for your pizza, guess what happens to your pizza? Your pizza will also be disgusting. Your pizza should be delicious. Pizza was meant to be delicious. Make pizza delicious again. We get a hat that says that. Make pizza delicious again. Miriam Banish says, I think white chocolate is an abomination, but we all have different taste buds. I agree. White chocolate is weird. I like chocolate. Again, I don't really eat it anymore. I don't really eat any of that kind of stuff anymore. The only time I'll have chocolate at this point is if I have a really bad headache and it just won't go away. Sometimes chocolate can help a headache, but dark chocolate actually can be somewhat healthy because it has antioxidants. And regular chocolate in moderation is fine, but white chocolate is odd. I don't know quite what to make of it. It just tastes strange. It doesn't taste like anything else I can think of. It's just, I'm not disgusted by it. If you put it on pizza, I'd be disgusted. But I'm not disgusted by white chocolate. I can eat it, but I won't necessarily enjoy it. It almost tastes like soap. Like I've never eaten soap, but it's what I kind of imagine. Well, of course I've tasted, we've all gotten soap or shampoo at least in our mouths, right? When we're taking a shower, it tastes like soap to me. That's what white chocolate is like. Maybe it is supposed to be soap. Maybe, is there I'm going to have to look up online later. Maybe you can wash yourself with white chocolate. I don't know. Miriam says, delicious is in the tongue of the beholder. Well, except when it comes to what I'm talking about with the pizza, because I also had somebody ask me once, Matt, who put you in charge of deciding what should and should not be on pizza? And I said, no one put me in charge. This is just how it is. This just happened. I just am the person. Sometimes it just happens that way. DJ Steve says, Matt, you only like to shove pizza in your mouth and sing That's Amore. Yes, a classic moment on Retro Spectrum Radio. I sang That's Amore. Well, we don't, that's in the past. We don't have food on the show. Miriam says it's referring to white chocolate. It's sugar and fat without the yum. Yeah, it doesn't actually taste good, but you're still getting the sugar. Yeah, no good. No good. Oh, wow, we're almost out of time already. It's 10 minutes of 6. Miriam says, I feel like eating pineapple on pizza in protest now. Well, you can do that, but I don't recommend it. Culinarily speaking, if that is a word, culinarily, I think it's a terrible idea, Miriam. Tom Blanchard says, you demand, Matt. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate being the man. All right. Hey, by the way, because we don't really have time to get in anything else, one other thing about the Jason Aldean thing that we spent a lot of time on both yesterday and today on the show. Oh, now I can't find it. That figures. So Stevens Blanchard, who is in the band The Conniption Fits, and he was in a band years ago called Motor Plant. And he's also a radio guy too. He works at a radio station in Boston. He had made an interesting comment that I shared out. He made a comment on social media regarding the Jason Aldean controversy last night, and I did share it out to the Matt Connerton Unleashed Facebook page, and I'm trying to get back to it now. And of course, now it won't come up. The internet's being a little slow. Probably the weather. Oh, here we go. I think it's loading. I think it's loading. Let me close out these other windows. Maybe it'll load a little quicker since we're not going to get to anything else anyway. He posted something about the controversy being somewhat staged, saying that the label actually paid. Okay, here we go. Here's the full comment. I want to read this to you. This is what Stevens Blanchard put on Facebook. On the whole Jason Aldean try that in a small town thing, they arranged to have it, quote unquote, banned from CNT. Like, do they even play videos anyway? They knew damn well this song would fall flat unless it stirred controversy. controversy that just isn't there, by the way. So they paid to promote it to being banned. Everybody just eats it up. Also, he didn't write the song, written by Neil Thrasher, Kurt Allison, Tully Kennedy, and Kelly Lovelace, like a lot of country hits, as he points out. Also, the hook of the guitar solo was ripped right off of Michael Jackson's Beat It, directly from the fingers of Eddie Van Halen. It would be just another average country rock song if it wasn't for the fake controversy. Well played. Also, the song has been out since May. Nobody heard of it until it was, quote unquote, banned. I call BS. Yeah, I've been hearing that too. They arranged to have it banned because controversy does generate. By the way, that's all kind of a long-standing thing. That type of thing is done in. It used to be done a lot in radio. You create controversy around a song, and doing so creates interest in the song. If you want to break a record, as they say in the business, have a hit single. There's a lot of old like radio scams and schemes that are like that. And of course, now it's carried over into this. If his theory is correct, which I believe it is, because I've read that other places too, that they arranged to have it banned to try to stir up more controversy. I'll give you an example of just a quick classic radio scam, just so you know what I'm talking about. And any other radio people listening will probably know what I'm talking about too. So back in the day, I don't think anybody does this kind of thing anymore. There's really no point. But there was a time when radio stations in major markets, I remember there was a station in Boston that did it once, at least once. They would say, okay, we've got I feel like it was a Pearl Jam song that was coming out. A radio station would say back then, okay, we've got a new single. There's a new single coming out from this band. We'll say Pearl Jam, because I think that's the example I'm thinking of, but I can't remember all the details. New Pearl Jam singles coming out. We're not authorized to play it yet. It hasn't officially been released to radio yet, but we're such a badass radio station. We're going to go ahead and play it, even though we're not allowed to. We'll suffer the consequences. We think you should hear it. And then they would play the song. And then the record label would publicly be upset. This radio station broke the rules. That's not fair. They're not supposed to do that. It was all a scam. Of course, no radio station, no corporately owned radio station is going to break any rules. It was and by the way, I appreciate this kind of thing, being a fan of Andy Kaufman, being a fan of professional wrestling. I always think this kind of thing's kind of fun, but they would do this where, everyone would play their part. So the radio station plays the song, quote unquote, early. They get in, quote unquote, trouble for it with the record label, who's, quote unquote, really upset. But in reality, they're all working together. And it's just to create controversy around the song. So it generates interest, gets people talking about it. Everybody comes out of it looking good. The radio station looks great because they look like, ooh, they're the cool radio station. They break the rules. Ooh. And the artist and the record company, they benefit because, it boosts the single. So that kind of thing is not anything new in radio or in music television, CMT, country music television. I'm sure they've had other instances of this type of thing. And none of it's new. None of it's new in the entertainment industry. Stunts where not everything is quite as it seems that generate interest, that create buzz. Alice Cooper, they did something like that. Alice Cooper, in the early days of his career, when he first signed with whatever record label he was on at the time, I think it was for the album Constrictor. They had a truck, like a box truck, with a picture on the side of it of Alice Cooper nude with the snake, a big snake, a big boa constrictor, covering up everything you can't show publicly, but a very provocative picture on the side of this box truck. And they had the truck driving around New York City. I think it was New York, but they intentionally stalled the truck in the middle of a busy intersection during rush hour. The driver pretended that the truck had stalled out in the middle of this busy intersection. So that draws all kinds of attention. There's news crews showing up. The traffic copters looking, oh, look at this. Look at this truck stalled out right in the middle of this busy intersection at rush hour in this very busy city. And it generates and of course the truck hadn't actually stalled, but that generated all kinds of publicity and buzz. I'm just saying that kind of thing goes on all the time. So if that is true, and some of this controversy was sort of self-generating, that's not unusual. It's not unusual for controversy to be self-generating. Okay. We're going to wrap up. I will be back tonight for Retro Spectrum Radio with Pauly C from 8 to 11 p.m. Join us, won't you? It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is. Always look forward to my Friday nights here at WMNH. And if you miss any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. And don't forget, of course, Saturday mornings here on WMNH, you've got a classic episode of The Morning Show from 7 to 9 a.m., followed by the best of Matt Connerton Unleashed from 9 to 11 a.m. here on Saturday. And then I'll be back with this program on Monday, and I'll be back tonight for Retro Spectrum Radio. Oh, and one other thing, the Hopknot, as they do on Saturday night, tomorrow night, they have live music. They have Ryan Gagne Hall playing live from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Hopknot tomorrow night. And don't forget those delicious gourmet pretzels and that ever-burgeoning assortment of craft beer. All right, we got to go. I will talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.